Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. I know the last episode I was ecstatic. Maybe that's not the right word. I was kind of excited about going into our next topic, and that's because it's something that is totally different and new to me, and that is going to be being single. So yeah, I don't even really know how long it's been, but I would consider newly single, and it to me is important to discuss that just because of my previous episodes. Where should I start? I think that I know that in one of the past episodes, I think I want to say it was Distant Lovers, we kind of discussed the things that it takes to be in a long distance relationship and for it to be successful. I'm positive that two of those things were communication, and the other one would be making sure that you are devoting time and spending time with the other person, whether it is on the phone and going to see the other person. And those were two aspects of our relationship that diminished and became non-existent over time, which of course leads to a breakup. I would have imagined that things would have went a little bit smoother, a little bit more respect due to the amount of time that we spent together. But at the same time, through my self-evaluation, I have discovered that, the blame can't be placed on just one person or one incident or any one thing. It was definitely something that some things that we both needed to fix. But yeah, being honest and open like I have been, I think it's very important for me to discuss being single and what that looks like for me. In the beginning, I could kind of see our relationship starting to change, but I didn't think that it would end this way. I mean, when you spend that much time with a person, you kind of start to, I guess, depend on the good aspects or good characteristics of that person. And you try not, or me personally, I try not to look at the negative or assume anything. And in the end, I think that I kind of let a lot of stuff, fall to the wayside or act like it didn't exist because I had developed this ideal person in my head and I wasn't looking at everything that he was showing me. And I'm sure he probably feels the same way. So yeah, after all of that time, we just kind of started to not talk as much. Our circumstances definitely played a role in that. Me moving to Atlanta and not having money to spare, and him not having the job that he wanted when I first moved, or before I moved, it kind of kept us from actually being able to financially afford to visit one another. And a lot of people are like, well, that's not an excuse. And it may not be, but for me, I kind of understood that aspect because I know where I was financially, and I didn't think I felt like correcting my situation was more important than putting effort and time into a relationship that I had already developed and built for 5 years. I felt like it was in a place where it could sustain itself, I guess. So, yeah, that was definitely one aspect. And then it came down to communication. I kind of got into a place to where possibly I was being selfish and thinking about my own needs, not realizing that I could have been putting too much on someone else. And I know that there were moments where I didn't have anything to give and he was putting a lot on me. And after looking back at it, this is the cool thing about it. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right word, but this is one thing that I appreciate in me journeying through this whole thing is recognizing, well, let's start here. At this point, I am doing this whole wholeness growth part of life, and I'm trying to discover me and fix the issues that I have so that I can set an amazing foundation for whatever it is that comes next in life. And through that self-evaluation, I was honest with myself and realized that some of the problems that became huge issues in my relationship were actually problems that I had before I met him. Oh my God, who would have thought? Like, wow, Lindsey. But I think a lot of us do not take the time to think about those things. And I was discussing it with one of my friends, and we were talking about brokenness and what that means. And a lot of people don't consider themselves to be broken. By the way, this is all coming from a book called Wholeness that I'm reading. Well, along with some life lessons, but some of these terms are coming from that book. But yeah, we were talking about being broken and what that looks like. And I was explaining to her that I'm learning that there are certain things in life that I felt like I dealt with because I addressed them, but I never sought out to correct them or change my mindset about them. And I became a functional, dysfunctional person. So functioning in my dysfunction. And through all of that, I felt like I was at the place in my life to take on a relationship and figured we can just help each other. We can build each other up. We can do this together. But in all actuality, the foundation was rocky from the beginning because I didn't know who I was all the way. And my guess is neither did he. And because of that, we were both two broken, hurt, unwhole people trying to help each other. And that doesn't work. Like, you have to help yourself before you can help someone else. And I think that's something that we don't consider a lot of the time when we are in a relationship or starting a relationship. Not to say that you can't be in a relationship and, start that journey to wholeness, because I do believe it is definitely possible, but it's self-awareness. It's being aware of where you are in life and being able to admit that you may have thought about these issues, but you didn't correct them. And because you didn't correct them, they're going to affect other aspects of your life. It may not be in a relationship. It may be like with a significant other. It may be at your job or the people that you hang around or your friends or your family. But not acknowledging that is very, very dangerous. As far as what it's like being single, I don't think I've experienced a whole lot of it at this point because I'm so involved in, self-correcting and this wholeness journey. But the thought of having to date again is annoying. That's just the best way to put it. It's annoying. I know that going out and hanging out and people approaching you and having to explain a lot of the same stuff to different people, I don't know how people do it for years on end. Like, I'm pretty sure that a lot of you feel like me and just say forget it, and if it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen. But yeah, that aspect I'm definitely not looking forward to. I do not like repeating myself, number one, and I don't like the whole vetting process and getting to know different people, because at the end of the day, you can get to know someone and it be super temporary, or you can get to know someone and it be long term but not forever, and it's just too much. It's too much to think about. Other than that, I don't know. It's been good for me. It's been good for me to be able to sit back and think about the things that I want in life for myself and not to consider anyone else, which I know is something that I mentioned in the past episode, but this is a whole different ball game to that same statement. I know that after being with someone for as long as him and I were together, I started to realize that I would plan life based on what I expected to happen with us. And that's a very dangerous place to be in, because you don't consider yourself alone. I think the only decision that I made for me was moving to Atlanta. And that's just because there was no consideration of him in that at all. It was just something that I know that I needed to do. But yeah, you start to plan your life with someone else and consider them in a lot of those plans. And if you're not whole and you don't know who you are and you don't know what it is that you want to do, those plans can become, most of them or all of them can become collective, and you don't add in your own dreams or your own goals. And like I said, that's dangerous. That's a very, very dangerous place to be in. I think that for me, it was definitely a positive thing to be single, because I didn't know a lot about myself. I didn't know a lot about what I wanted to do, where I wanted to live, the things that I enjoy doing. They've always been wrapped up in other people. Like, I know that I enjoy watching sports and doing that kind of stuff, but at the same time, you know, I dated an athlete. So even though that was something that I enjoyed before I met him, it became an experience that I had with him. And even, you know, down to doing crafts. I do that with my mother and I do that with my sister, but it's not a lot of things that I do that I enjoy doing that I get to do by myself. So being single, not having responsibilities, being educated already, going through college and all of that, it's an exciting part in life, and I am more than ecstatic to discover who I am, what I like to do, try new things, go new places, and be able to say that those memories are not so intertwined with other people that it hurts to think about them when those people are no longer in your life. Rather that be through a breakup or someone passing on, or, you know, whatever, however they may leave your life. I get to curate my experiences and my adventures through me and have those memories for myself that, you know, can last forever. There's one thing that I do want to say, which is very annoying about breaking up with someone, and I'm sure y'all probably have experienced this, but that is the whole, well, two things. Deleting everything and realizing that, dang, this person is in all of my stuff, like a lot of my important pictures and important memories, and not being able to totally delete people out of your life. Not because, you know, things ended that rough and I just want to forget about them, but just, you know, that's just a part of a breakup. Like, you can't just keep everything. That, and not knowing boundaries when it comes to friends and family, because after so long, they kind of became the same thing. And your friends are my friends, your family is my family. But I think that's been something that's very difficult, is wanting to check on certain people or wanting to converse with certain people, but feeling like that's no longer your place just because of that relationship. But other than that, I'm good. I'm excited, and I can't wait to see what life has to bring me. And I hope that anyone else who's dealing with it, I hope this has been a little bit helpful. And if not, we'll get through. You got any questions, you can always ask me. And I hope that other people remain as open as they have been to me when it comes to me wanting to express my feelings or ask certain questions. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. And I hope that you enjoyed it. And I hope that it gave you a little bit of insight into what I like to call reality with, you know, no filters. And I hope I get to see you guys next time.